Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. I know people going fast.
There's so many accidents going out west on 290 every snowstorm.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm going to open the meeting of the Town of Hudson Select Board of Monday, January 26, 2026. Would you all rise and salute the flag with me, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Judy, you are there, correct?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, just so everybody knows, Judy Congdon is attending the meeting remotely. So all the votes that the select board takes will be by roll call. All right, minutes to be approved. Public session minutes of January 12th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Lauren?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?
Abstain.
Thank you. And the chair votes yes, and that passes 4-0-1. Next, licenses. Select Board to consider approving the issuance of a single event entertainment license to Richard Braga for the Bid Summer Music Series to be held on Saturdays beginning on May 23rd, 2026 to September 26th.
Mr. Chair, did you miss
Did I
three?
miss something?
3A.
What
3A?
did I do? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I did miss it. Thank you. Select Board to consider approving the issuance of a new Class 2 license, sale of used vehicles, to Aaron Tringuk of Denari Fano Denari, located at 16 Brent Drive.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? Is the applicant here? I don't think so. Okay.
Smart man.
Okay. All those in favor? Lauren?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That passes 5-0. All right, back to 4A. Select Board to consider approving the issuance of a single event entertainment license to Richard Braga for the Bid Summer Music Series to be held on Saturdays beginning on May 23rd, 2026 to September 26, 2026, between the hours of 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. at 78 Main Street.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Lauren?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That passes 5-0. Richard, good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't have a snowstorm like we... 5, personnel. Select Board to consider the reappointment...
Wait, 4B.
Four.
Miss, huh?
Four.
Yeah, I missed
4B.
another one.
4B.
Wow.
Glasses?
You're in a hurry?
Evidently I do.
You do.
I keep writing it in the wrong spot. Select Board to consider the issuance of a single event alcohol license to Rosanti Garcia for the Galentine Gathering to be held on February 10th, 2026, between the hours of 5:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. at 43 Broad Street.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Lauren?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That passes 5-0. (5A) Personnel. Select Board to consider the appointment of Joan Wardell as Town Clerk for a term to expire on February 2nd, 2029.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments?
I just have a question, if through you, Mr. Chair, if Mr. Gregory, if you could give a little background on what these appointments are per se, if you don't mind.
Yes, certainly. Through you, Mr. Chair, these are select board appointments as authorized in the town charter.
And these
This in the following. This in 5B.
And these are separate from the actual positions themselves,
That's
is my
right.
understanding. It's more through the state a requirement that we just need to fulfill.
That's right. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I do have comment. Joan? Yeah, I'm overjoyed to vote for this appointment. You continue to make the position I think some people, it seems so seamless that people don't realize, how hard you guys work and how much work you have to do, especially nowadays. So I really appreciate that you want to be reappointed. I want to thank you for the job that you do and your staff. You have a great staff and all the volunteers that help you with elections and everything. You round them all up all through COVID was how challenging that was, and our town meetings are, logistics and everything are challenging, and you continue that. I just don't hear any complaints. I hear complaints about all kinds of things, but not usually anything that happens at town meeting. It's so I want to thank you again for the job that you do. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. You're welcome. All right, all those in favor? Lauren,
Roll call.
yeah, sorry. Lauren,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes, and I echo everything that you said. She's a great asset to the town.
thank you. I vote yes. Passes 5-0. All right, John, good luck. Thank you. 5B, Select Board to consider the reappointment of Neil Vadia as Town Accountant for a term to expire on February 26, 2029.
So moved with question.
Second.
Okay. I'm going to let Tom just comment on this first, and then
Sure.
The board has questions. Okay.
So just following up on an email I had sent to the board, kind of trying to explain this a little bit. All cities and towns are required in Massachusetts to have either a town accountant or a city auditor. That's a requirement, a statutory requirement. Not all towns are required to have a finance director. So in Hudson, the town charter stipulates that the select board has the authority to appoint the town accountant, and the general bylaws allows that appointment to occur for a term of 3 years. The general bylaws also allow the town manager, previously executive assistant, to appoint the town accountant as finance director, and that follows the normal department head appointment process that's supported in the charter. So the request this evening is for the board to exercise its authority under the charter to reappoint the town accountant for a period of 3 years, 3-year term.
Okay. Diane?
I just wanted to clarify that the need for a town accountant, and that no payroll will go out, and the accounts payable and no bills will be paid or whatever if we do not have a town accountant on staff at all times. Is that correct?
Right, so the town accountant prepares and certifies the payroll warrant and prepares and certifies the accounts payable warrant. So if we don't have a town accountant, that cannot happen. That's right.
And this is strictly for the town accountant position.
Right, that's right.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions, comments? Okay. By roll call, all those in favor? Lauren,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Judy.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That passes 5-0. Thank you, Neil. Continue signing those checks. 5C, Select Board to consider reclassifying the position of community social worker in the Health Department.
So moved. Question.
Okay, second. Diane?
Lauren?
Ooh, ow.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I know Miss Antonelli is coming up front right now, but if anybody is going to speak, if you could just have them come to the front so I can, in fact, hear them.
She's up here right now?
Yeah, I knew that she was coming up, but anybody else in the future, I just wanted to make sure.
Okay,
Thank you.
you got it. Thank you. Lauren? Good evening.
So may I ask questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just wanted to clarify that this position, in addition to the other two positions, are grant funded currently, and that when the grant was accepted, the understanding was that these were temporary positions. Is that correct? As the grant was written.
By the employees, you mean? The employees?
No, I'm just saying that when the grant was accepted, the positions being paid out of the grant were positions that were only for as long as the grant was there.
So if we're talking specifically about the social worker grant, that was ARPA money.
Okay.
So, yes, essentially. I think it was before my time, so I don't know exactly what the conversations were, but, we knew that it was ARPA funded. We had ARPA for a limited time. We've extended the ARPA funds out as long as we possibly could. We even reallocated some ARPA dollars from other things to sustain the staff positions as long as possible. So I guess, yes, partly the people in these positions know that they're grant funded and reliant on the grants, but I think the department has always been committed and had the plan to try to sustain the positions in any way we could, mainly by going out for other grants, which is what we've been doing. So kind of a mix of both.
That was my next question, is whether or not there are other grants that you could apply for that would sustain these positions, or, we'll take one at a time.
Yep, so we've already applied for 2 to 3 different grants, 3 actually, and potentially 1 pending for the social worker position. So we are planning and expecting that we'll be able to sustain that position at least for the next year, hopefully more, with 100% grant funded.
Okay. And the purpose of reclassifying the position? Is this to clarify the job description?
And for all of the positions, just kind of for context, I think these positions were all new to the town, to the health department, and really kind of broadly to public health in general, local public health, having a social worker or a community health worker or some of the other positions we have. So I think in the beginning, again, before my time when these positions were developed, job descriptions were written, we had a good basic a good kind of foundational knowledge of what the positions were going to be, but over time they've kind of grown, melded into different things. So part of it is, yes, just kind of clarifying a little bit more what these positions do. But for the social worker in particular, Alex, who's been with us going on 5 years now, just a little over a year ago, got her licensed independent clinical social worker certification. So that's a step up from kind of your initial level social worker. It required class, a big test. So she did all that she needed to do, passed, and now can do, she can bill for insurance, and it's kind of a higher level, more clinical position. So it was partly to kind of clarify the job a little bit more, make the job description reflect all that she's doing, and kind of acknowledgement of her advanced kind of licensure and the opportunities that allows the town, again, in terms of down the road, potentially billing for insurance in order to help sustain the funding for the position. She can also supervise social work graduate level interns, which will help us kind of increase our capacity by taking on, 1 or 2 interns a year that can also then go out into the community and do counseling groups, all of the things that Alex does, which we weren't able to do with just a licensed social worker as opposed to a licensed independent social worker.
If I may, one more question. Yeah. So I guess my question is, you're asking for this to be reclassified as community social worker in the health department. Mm-hmm. And I understand that, Alex has bettered herself by getting certifications, and that's all to the town's benefit. Mm-hmm. Is this reclassification, though, specifically for Alex, or is this for the position that may not be Alex, but in the future, may or may not be here?
Yeah, so I think that's a good question. I think, we bumped it up on a different level. So, if Alex kind of now falls a little higher up on that step, if she were to leave and someone else were to come in, I think we still have room on that same step. If they weren't an LI, we would still be okay on that same level, just at a different step. But I think in general, we were paying pretty low for a social worker just to begin with. So that was part of it too, just looking at some of the comps. So I think in the future, if Alex were to leave, we would certainly be, our preference in hiring would be to hire an LI. and we would be set up for that. But if we weren't able to find an LI or someone that was in the process, I think we would be okay in terms of the salary step that we're moving her to anyways.
One last question. To you, Mr. Chair. So are you asking for this position to be put in the budget, or are you, I mean, you said that you're anticipating that this will be grant funded again, at least for a year. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if we were to vote tonight, it is to accept the reclassification, but not to put it in the budget.
Correct. It's to accept the reclassification effective July 1 for the start of the fiscal year. And, you know, these positions have all been in the budget, but not on the town paid budget. Okay. So it's in our overall department budget, but the town isn't paying anything towards it. And so that will remain the same for this position for at least current fiscal year in FY27.
Thank you for clarifying.
Just to clarify that, it's in their budget.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
Yes, it's just not in the town's general fund budget, but it's in their department budget, as Lauren indicated. That's right.
And I will say, Alex is fantastic. I've used her a couple of times, reached out to her. She's, both times just said, I got this, and took care of the issues. So I think she's a fantastic asset to the town. Hopefully she sticks around for a while. I think she does a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I just have one question.
Sure.
Just for clarification, so we don't know 100% if this is grant funded yet, or is it strictly coming out of the town's budget if the grant, or the health department's budget if the grants aren't approved?
So
I'm just looking for clarification.
Yeah, so nothing's coming out of the town budget now. We have some funds to get us through the remainder of this fiscal year. And like I mentioned, we have 3 different grants out there. We also have our opioid settlement funds that could go towards this. One of the 3 that are out there pending is a matching grant for the opioid funds, which we had come to you all for approval before. So we are feeling very strongly and confident that we will get the additional funding through these other grants for the upcoming year. But if we don't, then it's not something we'll be looking to add to the town budget for FY27. We will just continue seeking grants, figure out what we can kind of scrounge up in our other grants, and do our best to make it work. But again, kind of as you asked, Diane, the staff on grants do understand that is a risk and something that could happen as funding could end. But we will do everything in our power to make it.
Kudos to you for writing those grants. I have done them before. It's a tremendous amount of work.
Did you get all that, Judy?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions or comments? Board members? Okay. So all those in favor? Lauren?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That passes 5-0.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. (5D) Select Board to consider reclassifying the position of Regional Community Engagement and Health Communications Coordinator in the Health Department.
So moved with
Second.
question.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Question, Diane.
I guess it's the same questions, Lauren. So was this originally budget grant funded?
Yeah, so everything presented here tonight has all been grant funded 100% and will continue to be.
Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you.
This position, the health communications coordinator and the community health worker are funded through the DPH Public Health Excellence Funds and a variety of a couple other things here and there. We piece things together. But we do have verification from the state that this Public Health Excellence Grant program will continue at least through FY27, assuming it will continue after the state has put a lot of resources into building up this regional public health program. So we don't expect that they will just kind of take off cold turkey. But it is, these are other positions that we will continue to seek grant funding as opportunities come up, just so that we can sustain all of the positions kind of as long as possible. But yes, none of these are on the town budget.
I just have one question as well, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
Okay, through you, with and to Lauren, with the step raises and the grants, are they? I don't know how to word this. Are they okay with the step raises as well?
Yes, the current funding we have, there is some wiggle room there, partly because we are down a couple staff, so that has, and we've kind of taken time to reassess what we're going to rehire for. For example, we had a regional public health nurse that was full-time, that may drop to part-time. Same thing with a regional inspector. So there is some room in the budget to account for these kind of slight increases in salary, but similar to Alex's position, when these positions were first kind of written and started, again, we didn't really know all that they were going to become and how kind of critical they were going to be. So part of it is adjusting job descriptions and the pay to reflect all that they're doing. And again, looking at comps, we really were not super competitive. So part of it is, hopefully we'll retain the really good staff that we've had for the last 4 to 5 years since this whole program kind of came to be. So yes, that's the long answer. The short answer is we do have room in the budget, and as we are applying for new grants, we're applying at the salaries that we hope to be at.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Just like
You're
to say,
welcome. Lauren?
thank you very much for providing so many services to the town through all of these grant funds. It's really great for everybody to know, how much that we are able to get with other funding, which is very helpful, and it's appreciated. I know it's a lot of hard work, and thank you to the staff for being understanding and flexible through all of this.
Thank you. Yes, we're lucky that we haven't lost staff of kind of are holding on, but there have been moments where people kind of get a little anxious with the funding and all of the stuff that's going on out in the world in terms of public health. So, I think all that we can do, even if it's a kind of somewhat smaller increase, to retain good staff, people that live and were born here, grew up here, and still live here and are serving the public really well. We're committed to trying to make it work for everyone.
Thank you.
All right. All those in favor by roll call. Lauren?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Passes 5-0. 5E, Select Board to consider reclassifying the position of Regional Community Health Worker in the Health Department.
So moved with question.
Okay.
Second.
Need and seconded. Diane?
All the same, all the same answers essentially.
Okay, that's
So
great.
this position is on the same grant as the previous communications position. Lainey, folks may know Lainey. She is really embedded in the community, just doing a ton with our residents, health insurance, food access, just everything. And she was someone really out of all of these that was really kind of underpaid when we looked at comps and all that her job does and all of the responsibilities. So same grant, the Public Health Excellence Grant through the state, always seeking additional grants, and that's about it.
Judy, any question?
No questions at this time. Thank you.
Anybody else? Good, okay. Motion's been made and second. All those in favor by roll call. Lauren?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That passes 5-0. Great. Thank you, Lauren.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Galen's next.
Contracts, we have none. 7A, General Select Board to meet with Board of Health Chair.
Just stay here.
Good evening.
Good evening. We're back.
Introduce yourself, just so we know.
Matt Gallen, 2 Babin Road. I am the chair of the Board of Health in Hudson. No, I appreciate you all reconsidering and putting it back on the agenda. Obviously, it is a very important topic in town. I know
Can you just back up?
Yes, the transfer station expansion.
Thank you.
That'd be helpful. Assumed everybody knew. So yes, so transfer station expansion. I believe we've received at the health department well over 100 submissions from the town, folks that are concerned. I know that there's been a lot received from the select board as well. When it comes to it was about a year and a half ago, when we were here asking for legal counsel for the site assignment agreement. I know a lot of it was based on making sure there was no conflict of interest for town council to support us, right? The site assignment is heavily regulated by the state in terms of how it will run, what the hearing officer can and cannot do, all the different steps. From a contractual perspective, it falls out of that realm. And when I've had conversations with Tom, as well as having him speak to town council, they did not see that we had a path forward in walking through how the contract was built, making sure any of the potential risk and how it was built with a new transfer station for the town was covered. So that's where it really came to the board's attention to walk through it, talk about all the different pieces we had questions on, understanding that the solid waste agreement did cover a new transfer station being built, but it did not cover the expansion of the transfer station. There was nothing in the solid waste agreement that talked about an increase of 350 tons to 850 tons, and that by itself brings on a number of public health challenges, as I'm sure you've all walked through. So that was really where we wanted to have additional counsel. Again, separate from the town council, to minimize conflict of interest, knowing that they are co-applicants on the site assignment proposal with BP. So that was the ask for additional counsel. We have spoken to very high level our lawyer that is supporting the board for the site assignment agreement. While he didn't want to provide insights into this because it's not in his purview per se so far, he did think that we had a path forward in what the board was asking for from BP, to really walk through all the improvements they're looking to make, all of the changes, because at the end of the day, I think that the town should have a say in what this looks like. It's town-owned property. All of the expansion has a massive impact on the residents of the town, public health of the town, and for solely the new transfer station being approved, but not an expansion, puts this in a whole different category for us to really understand what this is going to look like. So that's where the request from the board is coming in to have additional legal counsel to support walking through the solid waste agreement signed in 2021, understanding what options we have, where do all the question marks fall, and then how do we have these conversations? And what we're hoping for is more of a collaboration with BP to design this new transfer station together, since it is town-owned property, to make sure it is in the best interest of the town and the residents before it is actually built and put in place. So this would be completely separate from the site assignment agreement. We would still be going through that whole process, which Lauren has laid out at our meetings, along with our lawyer when it comes to all the different steps and stages that we have. So these would go on in parallel. We would have the conversations with BP, make sure that all of the risks that could be in this agreement for the residents and for the town itself are covered, and we are fully prepared and in a better place with some of the question marks we've had in here, since they haven't come forward to the town to get approval for these changes. So hopefully that helps, but happy to take questions.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to thank you and Mr. Gregory for putting this back on the agenda and for your willingness to entertain this idea. Has the proposed motion been broached with the chair of the Board of Health?
I have not seen it.
I don't think so. I I have it to read. So
Yeah,
we can.
I'd love to hear him react to that, if we could.
Yeah. So, So that's gonna be the next item. So
Yeah,
unless there's more questions, Judy, do you have any questions for Matt?
No, Mr. Chair, not at this time.
Okay. So anybody else?
Is this just like an ongoing conversation? Like, I
Well,
don't want to not be able
The
to ask
agenda item
questions
is
later.
to meet with the board, with him.
Right.
So he's stated, and so if you have any questions of him, it's separate from the next item on the agenda.
Okay.
But if there isn't, then
Mr. Chair?
yes.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And through you, the only question I would have is that when I watched the last meeting, Lauren, Annabelle, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like you would hopefully be able to, and correct me again if I'm wrong, is it Mark Conley?
Matt Conley, I think.
The attorney?
Correct.
Yeah.
Matt, okay.
Matt Connolly. Yeah.
M-A-T-T.
Matt Conley. Okay, thank you. My understanding from the last meeting was that you would hopefully use him, but I just heard from Mr. Gallen that this is not his purview. So I'm a little confused about if we decide to vote on this tonight, is Mr. Connolly the attorney that would best suit this, or is this not his purview?
No, so I apologize if that was confusing. What I meant by that is he currently is paid by BP to support us for the site assignment agreement. So this falls outside of what he is being paid by BP for. So that's why we're coming to you for additional funding. It is his expertise, it is his experience from an environmental law perspective that he is a part of a very small number of lawyers that we found have experience in this little niche. So he is fully ready to support us, but it is not in what he is currently being paid for by BP. So that's why we're asking for additional funding separately.
Get that?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yep, thank you.
And I will, from what I recall, is, Lauren did mention that he was, well-versed in this, but
Yes.
I don't think she said we're definitely going to hire him. So, for me, I don't think the board needs to put a specific name on there. I mean, we're going to say special counsel, so you can hire pretty much whoever you want, who you think suits your need. I don't think we need to put
It's absolutely fine.
Matt Connolly on there, unless you want that there, but it gives you some flexibility if for some reason he might say, no, hire, Joe Schmo.
I think that makes complete sense. From our perspective, we want to try to keep the timelines as we have them. And we had vetted a few different lawyers as a part of selecting Matt up front. But he has already become well-versed in the whole process in particular, so it would make sense for us to go with him. It would cut down on some of the onboarding type of processes, so we can try to keep the timeline we currently have.
Okay. Any other questions? Lauren, did you have?
No, thank you.
Okay, so then we'll move on to 7B. Select Board to consider authorizing an additional counsel to represent the Board of Health and contractual negotiations with BP Trucking Incorporated.
So moved with comment.
Okay. Okay. So the motion that has been prepared, which I asked Tom to talk to our town council just to prepare the motion so we make sure it's correct. I will read that, and then the board can comment, can ask questions of Matt or Lauren or whatever. So the proposed motion is move that the Select Board authorize the hiring of special counsel to advise the Board of Health of the rights of the Board of Health and the Town of Hudson pursuant to the Solid Waste Management Agreement between the Town of Hudson and BP Trucking Incorporated, dated November 15, 2021, and the lease dated December 6, 2021, by and between BP Trucking and the Town of Hudson, by and through its Board of Health, with the approval of the Select Board, pursuant to a town meeting vote of November 14, 2020, subject to the following. Any cost of the special counsel's work exceeding $5,000 not authorized unless, so this doesn't mean it's a cap. It's a temporary cap. If there's more money needed, comes back before the Select Board. That's in this motion. So any cost of special counsel's work exceeding $5,000 not authorized unless approved by vote of the Select Board at a future meeting, and all authorizations of the employment of any legal counsel are limited by and subject to Section 6.7 of the Town of Hudson General Bylaws, which just states about law committee. It's here on this. It was on the email.
Yep.
With that on there.
That passes tonight?
Absolutely. I apologize. We should have had that for.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you. I was about to give him my computer, so.
Okay.
So I will open it to comment from the board. Motion's made and second, but motion was made and second to discuss this, but hasn't been made and second in for this particular motion.
Yes, I'll make
Okay.
a motion with comment.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. So, Steve.
Yeah. First, this is a great step forward, but I do want to, if it's okay, ask the chair of the Board of Health whether this looks like it satisfies the need that Ms. Antonelli laid out to us last time around. In particular, the language about the scope, and secondly, the $5,000 initial amount.
Sure. I think the scope is perfect. We've been focusing on that solid waste agreement as where a lot of our questions have come in when it pertains to the improvements. I think 5,000 is a solid start. I know in feedback from Matt Connolly, he walked us through a little bit, and I think a lot of the pricing really depends on how much pushback we get from BP to having these conversations. He said that he'll be able to build a opinion and walk through the entire contract to understand all of the different questions, options, things that we need to work through. And I think that'll give us a solid start to then be able to go ahead and have those conversations, which from a legal perspective, I don't have that experience, and no, neither does Lauren, not to speak for you, or the rest of our board. So I think having someone like Matt walk through this and write all of that out and be that next piece we go to BP with, I think is perfectly done in that 5,000. And then we'll have more for us to then come back with if we need to have more discussions to understand where BP falls in terms of any pushback and next steps.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I was concerned about that 5,000 number, and I don't want to tie the board's hands. I want you to know that we're fully supportive, at least.
And I appreciate that.
I think we are fully supportive of what you intend to
I appreciate
try
that.
to
He said
accomplish.
if BP doesn't have a lot of pushback, it would be somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000. If they do push back a lot, it'd be upwards of 15 to 20 to really have a lot more of those conversations and really go more in depth. So I think that will kind of fall into place once we have that initial document built out after he walks through the agreement, and we'll know next steps after that.
I don't have a problem with, coming back with, if they need more representation to finalize it. So I just, trying to.
Yeah, and we want to be as transparent as possible for all these different pieces. So I'd be more than happy to have that all written up by him, and then we can walk through all of those pieces and make sure everybody's on the same page. So you all know, all the residents know exactly what is being done, what conversations are being had for those next steps, because we want to make sure we're in a solid place with this agreement before going to that site assignment process.
Lauren?
In the interest of just,
Just say everybody could address through the chair if you have comments.
I'm addressing
So-
you. So
Fine,
through
no-
the chair to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
I guess my question would be, would there be any wiggle room as far as the 5? Could we go to just the 10? Because, it was a range of between 5 and 10, so 5 would be the low end, and I would hate for us to spend $5,000 and then it be $6,700 or something like that, and then them have to come back, and then we meet every 2 weeks and they meet every month, and it just in the interest of trying to ensure that this first step, if we want to add language as far as just fund the initial investigation or something, like whatever the proper terminology would be, that would be something I would.
So you're asking me?
Well, the board,
Okay.
yes.
I just, my opinion is that, we all talk about, this is very important. Let's not, I'm not going to, the last meeting, I think people might have misunderstood where I was coming from as far as this whole thing. I am not against any of this. I'm basing a lot of my opinions on our town council. But this is very important for you guys to have this representation, to make sure that this thing goes correctly. It's very important, and I agree 100% with that. So I'm all for doing this. But I also think that we're always trying to watch money, okay? So Matt said he's okay with the 5, it may be more. It may go to 10, it may go to 15. I don't have a problem with coming back to the board and raising that number. If you come back and say, look we blew through the 5, here's the reasons why we need more. Other than just saying, our attorney says he needs it. I mean, you could give us some information. You've given us a lot of information, okay? This is just me speaking, and let Diane or anybody else, but I think I'm trying to rein this in a little bit, but we're all about, money's very tight, but this is an important thing. And if it takes more money, I'm going to vote for it. If it's the right reason, I'm going to absolutely vote for giving more money to the Board of Health to continue with this. I'm not looking to make this a cap of saying, no, they're only going to get $5,000 and then have at it. I mean, and that's it. I'm stating now that I would vote to increase that if needed. But I'm gonna stick with the $5,000 right now myself on the motion.
Would it be a possibility to add on an emergency basis through approval through Mr. Gregory, an additional $2,500 just on an emergency basis? I'm just thinking about timelines. That's my only concern, is if things just aren't lining up. And it was just a.
I guess I'm okay with it as long as it goes through Mr. Gregory, but I'm also I don't, these things aren't going to be. He's not going to get this assignment on tomorrow and then Wednesday say, hey, I already blew the $5,000. I mean, we got 2 weeks for another meeting. If we need to have if it's that important and he gets to that point, we can do a Zoom meeting. We can do a Zoom meeting on Friday.
Okay.
And vote to have the increase if it's that important. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I wasn't sure what the procedure as far as like if it was in the intermediary time.
If it becomes that important that they need that money and there is a timeline, we'll call a Zoom meeting and to vote on authorizing additional funds. I want to make sure that all goes through. It's all going to be. Through obviously the town manager and through advice of our council, but this guy's going to have a job to do, and he's, like you said, he's good at it, and I hope that he is good at it, and I hope that he does the right thing for the town.
And I think after our lawyer has a chance to walk through all of this and lay out the next steps, he would then understand, after initial conversations with BP, what those next steps would look like, and I think what the financial pieces of those next steps would look like. So I'll never come asking for a blank check. I'll have more context to discuss at that point, but totally on the same page.
Yeah, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I know it's a lot of legal things, but I think he's probably looked at some of this already, so maybe he's got a head start on it. I mean, no, I'm not, legally he isn't.
Don't answer that question.
And he's an attorney, so he's charging his money. But, I'm sure he's already glanced at the whole thing, and he's, maybe he's told you guys, look, maybe you should ask for this. Whatever. If he did, he didn't, doesn't matter. But I think, you already get the ball rolling, so,
Yeah, and he'll do his full review after we have that funding.
And sign a contract.
And sign a contract.
I would just add, just to kind of manage expectations a little bit, just in general for you all, the public. I am just cognizant of the fact that at some point this may get to a place where we would maybe need to go into executive session, or it's if there's an potential to approve it through Mr. Gregory and maybe the chair. I just, again, want to manage expectations that we may get to a point where it's not in our benefit to have these conversations publicly.
When it comes to legal, we've done it many times. Yeah, absolutely. If that becomes his advice through Tom and our counsel, then absolutely, sometimes you have to do that. So,
I just wanted to note that.
If it's necessary, it's necessary. Okay.
I just kind of finished the last little.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I'm in favor of giving them the tools that they need to explore all the options, and I do very much appreciate this being brought back to the table with the stipulations that you have. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Diane?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I wanted to just reiterate that Lauren had asked, and we heard her loud and clear last time, if we could bring this back when we have the full board present and able to vote. And so we appreciate that. But also, I recall asking Tom if at some point we needed or wanted additional legal advice, if we could bring this back. And so I thank the chair for bringing this back to us for tonight's discussion.
Yep, thank you.
Judy?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yes. Through you, I just want to make a note that, the Board of Health and the Public Health Department, while they're paying this attorney's bill, they could also, notify Mr. Gregory as that $5,000 reduces to say, hey, we're down to $1,000. We're probably going to need extra money. and get answers from council on potentially how much more time this could take, so that we do get a heads up on that. And then this question is also for Lauren and Matt. It was mentioned the last time about possibly renegotiating the contract to possibly try to bring it to tonnage. Is that something that you're looking at? Because that is going to be a much higher expense than $5,000 if that's what you're intending to accomplish.
It's a great question. And not to give you too high level of an answer, but we're literally looking at everything. We're going to be ripping apart this entire contract, and it does include those financial terms. I know there were pieces from the previous lease that had, to your point, Judy, different financial aspects tied to it when it comes to cost per ton they were paying to the town that are not included in this newer contract. But every piece that's in here will be ripped apart by our lawyer to really ask all those questions and get to a better place to make sure that everyone from the Board of Health, Health Department, Select Board, residents find that we are in a great place for this. So yes is the answer. Everything.
Did you get that, Judy?
Okay, thank you. I did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, any other questions or comments?
Just a comment. I was ready, Mr. Chair, to make a motion tonight to double, triple, quadruple the number, frankly, but based upon your representation.
You were going to pay for it?
I was not
I
personally,
mean,
no.
you are a little bit.
Well, indirectly, I guess I was. But based on your representations, Mrs. Bemis's and Mrs. Congdon's, and certainly Lauren DeBrill's, I'm confident that we're doing the right thing here for now. And
Okay. Thank you. All right. So motions are made and seconded. So all those in favor?
Mr.
Yes.
Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Chair? And just for a point of reference, I mean, if this is, I just want to put a cap on this at some point, because if we're facing $50,000, $75,000, I mean, there has to be a cap on this. So I would like, at some point when the Board of Health is in discussion with this attorney, whoever it may be, that they get a sense of, as they're moving along, if they can get a sense of how much money we're potentially looking at.
Absolutely. I can make
Matt,
sure.
I can see Matt shaking his head.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can make sure that as we go through all these steps, and especially after our lawyer has a chance to walk through it all and put his opinion together, that we can at least have an estimate at that point as he goes into conversations with BP. And then as we go through each of those different stages, I can make sure we communicate as much as possible, so you are all aware of all the different steps where we are with each of them, just to make sure that this is built with the town in mind, the residents in mind, so that way you have an idea of everything going on. And we can tie all the dollar amounts to those steps, so you can see everything as transparently as possible.
Thank you. And would it be possible that either Mr. Gregory can forward to the select board maybe a summary of what happens at your meetings, so that we have an idea of what's going on?
That would be up to you.
Is that a summary at our Board of Health meetings?
Is that like a written?
Well,
Like the minutes?
well, Judy, I think they could.
Meaning-
Well, I think they have to be careful if they're discussing legal matters. I don't know if they can necessarily advise the whole board publicly about what's going on with that. I mean, if it requires an executive session, absolutely.
Sure,
But I think
sure.
I think their
Okay.
attorney would advise them of that.
And I'm sure he could walk us through, here's what you can share at this point, and we can make sure that that is all
Yes.
absolutely shared.
Getting it,
Yeah,
right.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking more of an outline of what's going on. I mean, we get confidential emails from Mr. Gregory all the time, so I guess I'm just looking more at an outline as far as how far they've progressed in the process of discussing things with the attorney.
Of course.
Okay. You said yes. You okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, by roll call vote, all those in favor: Lauren,
Yes.
Steve,
yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Judy.
Yes.
The chair votes yes, and that passes 5-0. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
7C, Select Board to consider establishing an audit committee.
So moved.
Bring this back.
Seconded.
Second.
Yeah.
Mr. Sharrock. So I'm good with this. A couple of, first of all, one change on this motion was, it says individuals, it should say residents. Right, Steve, right, correct?
Yeah, I will add some language in this.
Okay, but we want to vote on this tonight, right?
Yes.
So, I'm just saying, if it says,
So on the first part, I would add at the end of the scope
Yep.
there. Further, that all members shall be residents of the town, and no members shall be full-time employees of the town of Hudson.
okay,
I think that reflects the feelings of the board, if I understand correctly.
for me, it does. So,
The only other change I would want to make here is on bullet 5, which says attend the exit interview. I'd want to say attend and participate in the exit interview with the auditing firm.
okay.
Mr. Chair, could you repeat that, please? I missed that last.
The one that he just said?
Yeah, I know that under the bullets he wants to add, all members shall be residents and not full-time employees of the town, and then he said something after that.
Okay, I'll have him read it again, Judy.
Yeah, so.
Thank you.
Under bullet number 5, where it says attend the exit interview, I would add attend and participate in the exit interview with the auditing firm. And then the final bit of language would be further, that all members shall be residents of the town and no members shall be full-time employees of the town of Hudson. Should we read the whole thing?
Did you hear that, Judy?
I did, thank you.
Okay. Are you good with the way this is written? You can.
I'm going to wait to hear commentary before I make a comment.
Okay. Is anybody, any other comment?
Would you like me to make the actual motion? Because these are actually 3 separate motions.
Okay.
Okay. So the first motion would be, is that the select board create and establish a 5-member audit committee empowered and charged as follows. Recommend the process for selection of an independent auditor, the frequency for independent audits, the audit objectives, and the scope of services to be provided by an independent auditor. Review proposals submitted by independent auditing firms. Recommend the selection of an independent auditing firm. Receive and review financial statements, auditors' reports, and management letters. Attend and participate in the exit interview with the auditing firm. Review the auditor's recommendations for corrective action. Monitor the progress of corrective actions recommended by the auditor. Make recommendations to the select board regarding the audit findings. Provide recommendations to town boards and officials regarding accounting practices and the need for additional auditing, and submit a summary of its work for inclusion in the town's annual report. Further, that all members shall be residents of the town and no members shall be full-time employees of the town of Hudson. So that's the motion that I propose.
So moved.
Okay, well, all right, but then you got 2 and 3 on here.
Those are 2 other motions.
Those are separate.
Those will be separate?
Yeah.
Okay,
So seconded.
So moved for the first,
Okay.
with comment.
and you second that, Lauren?
Yes.
I'll second that with comment.
Okay, Lauren seconded it, and then Diane's gonna go first, and then you're next, Judy. Okay, Diane?
Okay.
All right, so, I mean, I love all of this stuff, but clarification, kind of the overview is that this, the auditor is basically producing a report, and the auditing committee is selecting the auditor, going through all of this process and naming, this is the responsibility of the independent auditor. just for clarification, is that
Yes.
true? Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
the auditor has, they're gonna recommend, but the auditor has to be approved by the select board.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So the committee will recommend an auditing firm, but then
Yep.
the board just has to
And
approve.
the board approves, yep.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's fine.
Judy?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that last line where you say all members shall be residents and not full-time employees, I think it should be added that no select board members shall be on the auditing committee as well, seeing as we are the ones that are going to be seeing the report from the auditing, yes, approving the report from the auditing committee. I don't think that any member of the select board should be on that. It seems to be a bit of a conflict, in my opinion.
That's a good point.
Mr. Chair, I agree with that, so I would just add, I hope this be just a friendly amendment.
Yep.
After full-time employees of the town of Hudson or members of the select board,
That's
to the
fine.
end.
Okay, so
Do you-
Yeah, that's fine.
everybody, so, okay.
Do you need to say like current members? I don't know if it.
No, well.
Okay, I just didn't know. I just wanted to make sure the
think
language is
that's
okay.
assumed.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
wanted to make sure.
right. It
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
be a future one. Who knows?
I just wanted to make sure that that was fine.
I
Yeah.
think I don't think we need to put that in there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so is everybody okay with the way Steve's amendment, per Judy's request, Steve's amendment to that motion by adding select board members? Are we okay, or do we need to revote that? Lauren, you okay with that?
Yeah.
Diane, Judy? Steve added that in, is that to the motion for the first
Yes.
part?
Oh, yes, I'm okay with that.
Okay, all right, so by roll call, all those in favor, Lauren?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes,
Judy?
Yes.
The chair votes yes. Okay, that passes 5-0.
Mr. Chair, the next motion I would offer is that the select board, as soon as possible, seek applications, that is interest cards, from individuals with backgrounds in finance and interest in serving on this audit committee. And again, the individuals would be town residents.
So can we change that?
Yes, we can.
Individuals to residents?
Yes.
Okay, so you're okay with adding that to your
Yep.
sentence?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Okay.
Second.
Second, okay.
Question, Mr. Chair?
Sure.
Through you, I just, if you could define to me what you mean by "and interest"? Finances and interest in serving?
Desire in serving, you know. Yeah.
desire to
Okay,
serve.
yeah,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Okay. All right, so all those in favor, as amended? Lauren?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes,
Judy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that passes 5-0. Okay, Steve?
And, Mr. Chair, the final motion is that the Select Board direct Town Council as soon as possible to draft a town meeting warrant article containing a proposed bylaw for consideration by the Select Board and later by town meeting to permanently establish an audit committee with powers and duties consistent with those of the 5-member committee that we just described.
so moved.
Is there a second?
Second, somebody seconded.
You know what, Judy, you want to say?
Oh, did I say?
You can second it.
No, I made the motion.
I'll second it. I'll second it.
Judy seconded.
All right.
And on the question, Mr.
Sure.
Chairman, I would suggest that the gentleman that we spoke to, you and I, and the town manager spoke to, Attorney Paul Durensis, has done a lot of work on this. My guess on the time restriction here, this could be done in one afternoon at the longest. So I would hope and expect, frankly, this is on our next agenda. That would be my hope.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, are you asking for a draft of the warrant article
Yes,
to be placed on the next agenda?
Yes.
I'll expedite the request.
yeah. And I can give you some draft language if they need it, but I think that they probably have it ready already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
If you don't mind, through you, Mr. Chair. I guess my only stipulation, and I mentioned this at the last meeting, or concern is I do definitely think that this needs to be a permanently established audit committee. My preference would be through what we were received through from town council, that we explore the options of a charter revision as opposed to a bylaw in order to enable that the audit committee could be publicly elected. That would be my preference for the long-term goal for this. I think that all of the charges are important, but these are very supervisory as opposed to actually being able to have power and to be able to exact any sort of change. And so that would be the part that I have issue with.
Okay.
May I have a question?
Mr. Chair?
Yeah. Yes?
Through you, haven't we discussed charter revisions in the past, and they are working on a committee for charter revisions, being as it's from like 1973 or 78?
Well, I don't think there's any day. I mean, I've mentioned in the past, I think our charter needs to be updated, but that kind of got...
But making a one charter change is very time consuming.
It's
correct?
it's very difficult and lengthy.
It's very exhausting, and if we're going to change the charter, we might as well change the entire charter because there's a lot in that charter that needs to get changed. I think right now this accomplishes what the entire board would like to do, and in the meantime, getting a bylaw on the warrant would suffice and would make the public happy as well, and the board happy. But a charter change is very exhausting, and it's time consuming.
Okay, thank you. Diane?
I just wanted, if I may, through you, Mr. Chair, ask Tom a question. Can you clarify charter versus bylaw and the power with each so that we all understand basically the difference?
There was a distinction that was made that town council highlighted. I just don't have it in front of me, so I don't want to misrepresent what town council said, but let me find that and I can share that with the board in an email. I just don't have it in front of me.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, maybe I could just mention that if this were to be a charter change, we could empower this committee to do more than that which I proposed here. What I have proposed here is the most that we could do right now through a bylaw. So, yes, would I prefer a charter change? Yes. Is that practical at this moment? I don't think that's really practical right now. But in the long run, if this group works out well, but we want it to be more muscular in the future, that's the way to go.
Okay. Yeah.
And just to add, Mr. Chair, is that the bylaw, by making it a bylaw change, we are able to get it on the warrant for May. If we were to do a charter change, we'd be looking much further.
Okay, thank you. All right.
So, I'm trying to find, oh, here it is. Okay. So I pulled this up, what they said, if I'm allowed to read what they said regarding the timeline stuff. Okay, I just want to double check. So for the bylaw committee, in our opinion, a permanent audit committee could be created through the adoption of a general bylaw, which is accomplished by the vote of town meeting, and approval there for the Attorney General of the Commonwealth, estimated to be at least 6 months to accomplish. And then down here, it said a permanent audit committee could be created through an amendment of the town charter. Where'd it go? Pursuant to the third method, the amendment to the town charter would require 2/3 votes of town meeting to adopt and approve the ballot question by voters. It would take about 6 months to accomplish. They were both 6 months.
Yep.
And it's just the difference in how much of a vote at town meeting is my understanding. And that's, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. All right.
So we're still opposed to it even though it's the same exact timeline?
You want to make a motion?
So, I mean, I would like to amend the motion to draft a charter revision as opposed to a bylaw. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to caution that we won't be looking at that until November at this point.
Okay. so made a motion. Is there a second to Lauren's motion? So there's no second, so motion is defeated.
Mr. Chair, my preference would be to second it,
You
but...
you said
but
that, I
also
don't
know
disagree with it.
I also know I'd lose 3 votes, so I'm happy having 5 votes.
Or 4.
With well, maybe 4, maybe 4, but, yeah,
Okay,
this is what we can get right now.
okay. So I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Lauren?
No.
Okay. Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, so that passes 4-1. Okay.
Hey,
It's okay.
no worries.
Select Board to receive an update on Finance Operations Action Plan and Free Cash Certification.
So moved.
Yeah, we don't need to vote on that.
We're gonna, we're just gonna listen.
Correct. Evening, Neil.
Good evening. I apologize, I forgot my list, so, most of it is the bigger stuff at this point anyway, so I'll try to go off of that, of where we stand. So, we're pretty much through the 6 months of cash reconciliation for +24, so we're into the second half. I'm a little behind where I want to be in terms of that, probably just a couple days, so I'm hoping by the end of this week I'll get what I want to do done. I was hoping to have it done last week, but with the assistant leaving, we have a lot of things we have to wrap up before she walks out the door. So and then 2 other big things relative to that were
6 months of which free cash for
for +24.
24.
Originally I said to you last week I was going to have it all wrapped up. It's just taking a little bit longer. I've kind of been torn here and there trying to get stuff wrapped up within the department, including we had to get. So one thing it'll be on the action plan that I have a chance to do was we have to get 1099s and W-2s out. That had to be by the end of this week. So we've been working hard because we had to import the 1099s from the old system into the new one, which went fine. There's some errors, but generally speaking, it went pretty well. So those have to get out this week and transmitted to the IRS, the W-2s as well. And we did the W-2s on Friday because of today, being off. But they'll be getting, stuffed, and I think all the employees will have them for Thursday. So that's a good thing. So that was a big thing, and I'm happy that got done. That was a big deal. In relation to, obviously, we're working with Mass Munifins. That's going well. I'm in contact with them every other day, pretty much. We hammered out some issues over the weekend, so that was good. So that's still moving along with them. Obviously, they're doing the bulk of it, and obviously, we have some entries to book, which I did, and they were happy with the way it worked out. So that's going to actually speed up more. So that's why I think by the end of the week, we should have it done. And then they're already working on 25, like I had mentioned before. The other thing I mentioned to you, which we had talked about, obviously help from my office. So I've reached out to 2 people, just waiting to hear back from them. One is actually the one that Steve Barrett works for. And he's a good person. I think he's going to be able to offer someone. I did check with Steve to see if he could offer more time. Unfortunately, he can't. My only concern, obviously, is having someone else come in and having him work with me, but I think it's going to be fine. It should be okay. And that's pretty much about it. There's been another issue with the file that gets transmitted for teachers 403B, things like that. Last week, it's kind of becoming circle, and I want to thank Dan Gale. He's been kind of spearheading this too, but come to find out, it sounds like the vendor changed, and this wasn't us, but it sounded like the vendor changed the file format that they wanted. And I guess that's part of the reason why the file's not getting uploaded. We've been transmitting the file and the money, so to speak, on the same day as payroll. We've been doing that for months now. And shortly, I guess after Christmas, there has been like a delay, which because of the holidays and the way the holidays fell, with Christmas being a Thursday, that was expected because it takes about 6 to 7 days to transmit. And so if the holiday, there was a little bit, we had back-to-back on a Thursday holiday, so that made sense. But it happened again, and so we came to find out that Erin looked into this, and I guess the vendor has changed the format. So I'm going to reach out to them tomorrow. They were not in the office last week. The vendor wasn't, so that's a priority tomorrow, just to find out why all of a sudden there's a change. They didn't really notify us, and I believe that's a holdup of why this stuff's not going. we transmit the funds and the file, but the file, it's taken 7 days to kind of come back to us, so it's not in the right format. So we've had to do some adjusting on the fly to get that rectified, and then I'm gonna just reach out to them and say, hey, you know, if there was an adjustment, you should have let us know. But that's what I was told. So that's really the only other big pressing issue outside of the cash that we have to just kind of get rectified internally.
Okay. Questions from the board?
Yeah, 2 questions.
Steve?
Free cash,
Yes.
where do we stand? Is that going to happen for the spring town meeting?
Yes.
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 Okay. Now you have your assistant leaving.
Yep.
Mr. Price will be leaving at some point. Do we have enough staff to get this done on time?
So to answer your question is, so we've reached out to Capital Strategic to backfill the treasurer collector. And I'm reaching out, because we talked about, this is what I mentioned, that was what I just said. I'm reaching out for someone to help me, because no matter who we probably hire, I'm going to need an additional set of hands. The new hire probably, you know, here's the problem too, is onboarding with a new hire for my office. I can't, I won't be able to do both, right? So that's why I talked about, we're going to look to hire like someone else to kind of help me out, that we can just bang out what we need to bang out. Obviously, it would be great. I don't necessarily need that person to train the new person. I can do that. But I do need the other person to come in and backstop me, because I can't, there's just going to be too much to do. You're right. You're absolutely right. Which is why I said, well, earlier, is we're looking to, basically, I've reached out to 2 people to kind of help fill the gap. Because Steve can't do that except for 2 days, and I need at least another day, if not 2, to help me get that done.
Sure, just a final comment. I mean, all of us, I think, have said, we want you to succeed, we want this to work. And if you need more resources, we are here to offer them to you.
Yep.
You've got to ask us. Okay?
Yep.
Or you've got to ask Mr.
Yeah,
Gregory
no.
first, but
Well,
then ask us.
we did, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, that was what we talked about the last time.
Yeah.
That is bringing in the additional resource, because right now, Mr. Barrett was only coming in like 2 days a week. I need someone else, because if
Yeah.
she's leaving, I can't. So that is the additional resource, adding a person in for at least 2 days, because it's going to take us 3 weeks, maybe 4, to hire an assistant, and I can't do that. That's going to be impossible.
I will say through you, Mr. Chair, that we did advertise, I think I let the board know this, we did advertise the assistant position, and we're getting some interest, which is a good sign. So we're going to dig into the resumes this week and see where we are for potential interviews, and try to move. And the hiring process is always slow and cumbersome in any job, but we'll see if we can move as efficiently as we can. So.
But the consultant route is obviously,
Yeah, I mean, because they're good about what they do, and
right. And
Yeah,
they've said
you know-
in the past they were able to help us out. So.
That's right.
right. And the pluses are, especially because the consultants work in many different softwares, and they have years of experience as well. I won't have to tell them on certain things what to do; they can just do it.
Okay.
And that's the pluses. Outside of hiring, more staff or whatever, is that stuff I don't have to teach them, so that takes a lot. That's the time savings there.
Mr. Chair, to the other quick item is we'll be rescheduling with the DOR a meeting this week, so we'll let you know when that is. So.
Yeah.
I reached out to them the week before. There's a lot of stuff been going on, so I'm sure they're busy too. So
Yeah, I
it's
saw
a new time of year.
Saw
and-
the email. Yeah. I mean, I'll attend whenever it
Yep.
is, but I did
Yep.
see the reschedule request. So, okay. Lauren?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So when you do have your meeting with the DOR, are you still intending on asking them about whether or not you can, if they would condone hiring a treasurer collector at this point?
Yeah, I do. I do. I do. I just want to kind of gauge their opinion. Like I said, I don't want it to be one of those situations that we're fully caught up, but we still need someone in there and full time to take kind of the reins. The consultant updates DOR, because she reaches out to them to kind of keep them apprised outside of our meetings, which is good. So kind of they know where we stand. So I think in our next meeting that'll be one of the conversations again about hiring a full-time treasurer. I don't want it to go off. It can, again, like any position, it can take a long time, and so I don't want it to be, oh, let's wait till we're caught up, and then, oh, let's, hire someone, because it's going to take time, and we don't want to keep, pulling down the road with hiring a position.
Get them in there. Get them in there now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Judy, any questions for Neil?
Negative.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Neil. All right. Next, budget hearings, fiscal year 27. First one is building inspections, tab 19 in a budget book.
Before we get started, can I just thank you, Amanda, for adding the pages? I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll do it for the future.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, I don't see Mr. Berger here tonight, so I could give you my rundown on the budget if you'd like, or the board can postpone the discussion to the next meeting.
I mean, I guess.
Mr. Chair, I would prefer to pass over it if he's not available.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I prefer to ask questions unless Mr. Gregory feels confident that he can address everything.
Well, I do, but I feel like you should hear it directly from the department head. So I think that makes perfect sense. So you can add that to the next.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
We really need to vote, I mean, unless
Yeah, no.
it comes through that, so. Okay, so we're gonna skip over building inspections. Also, we're going to, Janet requested us to table hers, the
Yes.
Council on Aging also. Okay. Next is Board of Health, tab 21. In our book. So I'm gonna read this. We'll motion in a second, and then we'll have comment from the Board of Health. So
Yep.
as soon as she's done.
Thank you.
So the amount requested on this right now is $311,141.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. Lauren and Matt.
Hello again. So our budget for FY27, I guess, has stayed somewhat the same in terms of certainly our operating expenses, with just a little bit of a change because that was still FY25, we did get a department vehicle. We got one of the former building department vehicles. So we did have to add in money for gasoline, vehicle maintenance, which we kind of just based on, I think, somewhat of what the standard is for other departments similar to ours. We did take out a little bit of money here and there as much as
Lauren,
we
can
could.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Kiosk
New
is-
kiosk.
I'm trying to listen to you and I can hear that. All right, sorry, so go ahead, back up and.
Yes, and then I guess the other big operating expense is the Gates Pond landfill monitoring, which I think what we've landed on is $40,000 for that, which I know is a large chunk of change. We were expecting we may even need more, but hopefully that amount will be sufficient for FY27. But we're calling back to the November town meeting. We talked about the landfill over on Gates Pond, the closed capped landfill, and the work that needs to be done there in terms of getting it fixed up, and then also doing ongoing monitoring and maintenance for.
Yeah, I can see the board
future.
looking here. They see 25,000. Just to clarify. So Lauren, to her credit, has been trying to carve out as much as she can to identify an expense that we quite don't know what it will be yet, because we don't know the frequency of the monitoring, the groundwater monitoring, the air sampling, until we get deeper into the actual construction. So I didn't have the ability to carry that high a number, $100,000. So I had reached out to Jim McQuaid, the section chief at DEP, who I've known for many years, and Mike Scher at Ty and Bond, who is our consultant, to try to basically tell them the fiscal reality for our budget, and we can't carry this high number. what's a more reasonable number that we can carry, with the understanding that we may have to go back and supplement it. We could do that at November, or we could do it as a year-end transfer. And so Mike Scherer's response from Tyne Bond was $40,000. So the request that I have, that we have before the board tonight, is to increase $25,000 to $40,000. So that would change the bottom line number from 311,141 to 326,141.
Okay.
So, yes, I think that was a good representation of where we're at with that. And then, I know we're not looking at capital tonight, but then there is another large sum of money on the capital plan for the Gates Pond landfill project. This would just be the kind of new added line item for every fiscal year going forward, essentially, for forever, to do this ongoing monitoring. So I think nothing else really notable in terms of operating expenses. In terms of salary and wages, we will continue to have our clerical wage, our department admin, Donna Boulay, on the town budget at 75%. Mr. Gregory and I have spoken over the last couple of years about increasing that over time. We did increase it 2 years ago, I believe, from 50% to 75%. And, you know, I kind of requested that, or said that leaving it at 75 was sufficient for now. We're able to kind of carve out some funding in other grants that she does administrative work for to keep it at 75. We have the small stipends for the Board of Health members. My salary is 100% covered by the town, as is our sanitarian. And then the addition on here, which wasn't recommended by Mr. Gregory, understanding the fiscal reality. We know the budget is tight, but in the folders that I shared, and Ms. Congdon we can email it to you or figure out getting a hard copy to you, is some documentation that had been provided to Mr. Gregory kind of as part of this budget process related to our public health nurse, and really why that is a critical need for our department for various reasons. But our public health nurse, similar to the social worker position we were talking about earlier, has been funded by ARPA dollars since, I think, 2020. ARPA funding we've used it all. It also had to be used by the end of 2025. So, you know, we feel strongly that it's a position that we really need. We really believe, and not just we, I think Department of Public Health and most local public health departments recognize that at least some amount of a public health nurse on staff is really a core public health function. And so this position has been full-time all these years, but as a way to kind of, you know, compromise, understanding the financial situation, I put it in at just 50% a part-time position. So the nurse would either drop down to part-time or about part-time, or potentially stay full-time if we're able to secure other grant funding. For now, we do feel like part-time will be sufficient for our needs. And a public health nurse is just not something that we're typically able to get grant funding for, because it really is kind of largely seen as a foundational public health service. And so the board had written a letter to the select board and to Mr. Gregory, kind of talking about this before we got to this point where it kind of has already been recommended. But that letter is included in your packet, as well as the snapshot from 2025 of all the great work that our public health nurse has done. The most kind of important role that she plays is in infectious disease kind of prevention, contact tracing. You know, we get lots of cases that come through, whether it's a foodborne illness, TB, a whole host of things that require specific kind of interviewing and tracing by a nurse, an RN, to make sure that this isn't spreading and the people are getting the treatment that they need. So that's a big part of the nurse role. And then she also does a lot, especially with the seniors, blood pressure clinics, health, nutrition classes, things like that, and just overall kind of supporting the department and our various initiatives. So there's a snapshot of all that she has done, at least in the last year. There's a document from the Massachusetts Association of Public Health Nurses, which shares kind of some of the pros of having a public health nurse, including kind of cost savings in the long run of having a nurse in terms of preventing issues, decreased, emergency calls, hospital visits, things like that. And then lastly, there's a document from the Massachusetts Association of Health Boards. It's their SAFE 2.0 guidance document. And SAFE 2.0 is a law that was signed in by the governor back in 2024 that really kind of sets the standard for local public health and the requirements and expectations of the state in terms of local health departments doing certain things that they have found to be critical and needed and now are essentially requiring. So there's a document kind of explaining more about what SAFE 2.0 is and how that relates to our department, our town, and the role that a nurse would play, again, mainly in terms of the communicable disease management and investigations. Would you like to add anything?
No, I mean, I think you laid it out perfectly. I think it's an incredibly important position that I believe should be included in our fiscal year 27 budget. I think it was a mistake to leave it off, especially knowing how much our public nurse has had a positive impact on our town. I think it's critical, especially knowing now the legal aspect of making it more of a requirement than it had been before prior to this bill being signed into law. Our goal was to have these documents to you earlier than tonight, because I know it's difficult for you to fly through them, read them, and then vote on it. We had sent this to Mr. Gregory on January 7th, but it doesn't sound like it made its way to the select board members, which is an unfortunate piece, knowing that we are now at the point of voting on the budget. But I want to 100% stress how important this position is, and we're doing our best shifting it to a part-time position, because I know that funding is tight, but I think it's critical to the town to maintain this position at least at part-time.
Okay. Mr. Gregory, can you just background on, so obviously it wasn't included in this number, so can you explain your position on
Sure.
that?
Every year when I meet with the department heads, I always encourage them to be candid and to show the need in their budgets, to show where the need is, with the expectation, the understanding collectively among the department heads that there will never be enough money to meet all of the demands across all of the departments. And so this year, there were about $550,000 in department requests that I have not been able to fund or make a recommendation for funding. And that includes 2 DPW facilities employees, 2 police patrol officers, a police sergeant. I had to reduce fire overtime, and this is one of those positions that also was included in that list of demands that have been made or requests have been made that I'm not able to recommend for funding because there isn't enough money to go around. So I don't question the need, but it comes down to being able to balance a budget, present a balanced budget to the select board.
Okay. What is the number? I don't see. Did you guys have a?
It's 49,163 is what would be the part-time salary.
God, it's under FY 27 department
Okay,
estimate.
thank you. I knew they'd give it to me.
And I'll just add to, as we've talked about, we had these 2 positions funded full-time for the last almost 5 years with ARPA dollars. And, I kind of in recognition of the financial constraints made the commitment that we would seek out funding for the full-time social worker, not move that, not even request any part of that to be added onto the town budget, and similarly decreasing the nurse down, again, either dropping her part-time or seeking out other grant funding. We had also been in discussion about requesting a car in FY27, a new vehicle in the capital plan, and I understand that those are different forms of funding. But I did, let Mr. Gregory know that we didn't need to worry about that in this fiscal year because we do have a car, even though it's a little aged, but it does the job for now. So was really trying to kind of make compromises and give where we could and slim down, even very small amounts within, the operating expenses where we could. So I understand the constraints and the other departments have needs as well, but we have a team of 14 staff right now. When we're fully funded, when we're fully staffed, we could be up to 16, and 80% of that, or a little over 80% of that, especially if we have a full staff, is funded by grants. So, I just want to make note of that we do provide a lot of services to the town that's not on the town's budget. And some of those are regional, but they're all housed out of Hudson, so Hudson really does get kind of more preference and priority for those staff. They are town of Hudson staff. And just to say that, our kind of overall budget on the town is pretty small relative to all that we offer and all of the money that we bring in grants. And the nurse, is just a small piece of that, as Matt said, we feel strongly should be covered by the town, and is really kind of foundational to local public health. But
I think if you take a look at the snapshot that Lauren's provided, it lays it out at a very high level, but I think just walking through that shows the impact that the nurses had on the residents, right? And I think it just kind of further provides how much that she has done for the town and why it's incredibly important to find funding in some fashion. I know it is difficult, but to please add that to our budget for fiscal 27.
Yes.
Just
Mr.
have one
Mr.
question
Sheriff.
for Mr. Gregory. My recollection, when you gave us the budget presentation, you had 2 new jobs in there, right? 2 positions, firefighter, police officer.
To be funded through the offset receipts, not in
Yes.
the general fund.
Yeah. Offset receipts, what is the limitation on the use of that?
It's for public safety purposes.
Public safety, public health, part of public safety, potentially?
Tuberculosis.
I'd have to go back and look at the agreement. My understanding, it's always been used.
I know it's been used for dispatch, right?
Right.
Yeah, primarily, but,
Hold on, Judy. Hey,
Yep.
yeah. So could you broadly interpret that?
I'd have to take a look at it. I don't have it in front of me, and I have to take a look at it and report back to the board.
All right.
So.
Judy, did you comment in regards to that?
I did. Through you, Mr. Chair. The offset receipt account comes from the Public Safety Assessment Agreement for Highland Commons for fire, police, and water, for Highland Commons only. It is very well written. I have a copy of it with me. It is strictly for those 3 departments.
I mean, he can still, obviously, he can still get you the answer to that question, so, okay.
Yeah.
Comment?
My concern is the difference between the other positions that are not being funded. To my understanding, is there are not currently people in those positions. The police and fire and DPW that you were not able to fund, there are not people currently in those positions.
That's correct.
There is a person in this one. And to me, that is a large distinction. It is somebody who has served our town, who, in my understanding, lives in this town. So she's a resident and she's worked for a very long time in this town. I understand money is tight and things are hard to come by, but in my opinion, I think this is something definitely worth fighting for and advocating for. And I know the hot topic of the time is health insurance. What would be the health insurance situation with this?
So that's something we'd have to kind of talk to the employee about and figure out. This didn't account for that, but depending on how many hours she would go down, she might not be eligible for health insurance anyways. But if it was something where we were able to secure other funds at some point and she was able to stay full-time or above part-time, that would be something like we typically do. We built into grant budgets. But we were just kind of asking for the bare minimum.
And then final follow-up. What is the general for other towns? What is the policy on having a public health nurse as far as like population to nurse ratio, if you have that information?
I don't know the exact kind of ratio by population, but I do know, at least speaking for the our regional public health group, there's Hudson and 8 other communities. The large majority of those have a full-time public health nurse, or at least a part-time, but most do have full-time. Some of them they're all basically the same size as us, some maybe even smaller. Some of the smaller communities, like a Medway or a Maynard, they share between two public health departments. But for the most part, they all have some budget. At some points, some of the towns have contracted it out to like a VNA, but they still have the money in their budgets to fund some form of a nurse, because we do have to have this kind of contact tracing requirements that we have to meet through DPH.
Could I have one final?
Yep.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So I know that the flu and COVID clinics are very well attended. Is that something that is enabled because of her, and does that bring in any sort of revenue? Because I noticed there was something about insurance billing in here.
Yep. So over the last year or two, we have, only because of our nurse, because it has to be an RN or a doctor, was able to get us set up in the state's vaccination program. So we now are kind of certified to be a vaccine clinic. We're able to get vaccines from the state, from other providers. And then, yes, to your point, if people are insured, we are able to bill to their insurance, which brings in some money. Mainly covers the costs of the vaccine itself, because we have to purchase the vaccines first and then we get reimbursed through insurance. So the more we continue to do that, and the more we vaccinate, the more we would get, and it could probably over time build up to go somewhat towards salary. I don't know that. It's certainly not now at a point where we have enough to cover salary, but maybe a portion of it. And those are numbers we can look a little more closely at. But yes, our nurse did over 400 vaccines in 2025. We had a huge turnout at our flu clinic in October, which we were not expecting. And so, yes, that there is that kind of pipeline where we could build that up more. I know the nurse works very closely with the schools doing the vaccines, the childhood school-required vaccines. So we're basically down to 0 kids that are out of school because they don't have vaccines, which has been a huge problem. And we've been able to keep up with it because our nurse is able to have these vaccines on hand. The schools are not able to do that or don't do that. And the nurse will go into the schools or even go to the kids' homes. So we're keeping the kids from missing school because they can get a vaccine kind of quickly through us, which obviously is important.
Thank you.
Diane? Through you, Mr. Chair. So we're going back to the same questions for these other 3 positions. This was funded, and when it's funded by grants and the grant ends, then the funding ends. And the fact, believe me, I think that a public health nurse is very, very important. But I also think that firemen are important and police are important. And so if we can't fund other departments, it's really hard. And I understand that you've cut it in half, but this is what you're asking for. It doesn't include benefits. And so if she has more than 19 hours of service in a week, then she has benefits. And benefits cost up to $20,000. So, it depends on if she's part-time, but, 19 hours, if she's 20 hours, she gets benefits. So, I worry about that because you're talking, another 20 grand or at least 10 grand if she's part-time. And as I said, it's like you're competing with the fire department and the police department and whatever. So
I don't ever want this to come off as that we're trying to take from the fire or police department or replace anybody there, because I think these are separate conversations. By no means do we want funding to shift for either of those 2 departments. I think what we're trying to convey is, outside of just meeting state requirements for the SAFE 2.0 law, just showing what she has done, I think, speaks for itself and is worth more than what we would be actually giving her in a salary. So I think something that we need to focus on and take another look at the budget and try to find these funds somewhere, because I think it's an incredibly important position. And I think for prevention and long-term health of the residents, it's incredibly important.
I understand that, but take a look at your budget to see if you can find this someplace else in your budget, is what I'm saying. It was grant funded. You knew it was coming to an end, and you knew that this was going to be an issue if you wanted that position to continue. So,
Yeah, and I think, I mean, we have talked over time, I think, leading up to the end of ARPA funding that, you know, it would be our hope and kind of plan to make at least somewhat of an ask to the town to take on some of these things kind of gradually over time. You know, I don't think we've ever kind of said when it's done, you know, and we're just going to give up on this. I think also in the 5 years that we've had the nurse on board, public health has really changed through COVID and just, you know, everything that's happened since then. You know, the regulations have changed and all of that. So, you know, the kind of situation, the context has really changed. And I do know, and I have to do some more digging, and I don't know, maybe Fernanda, you may recall, but we did, prior to COVID and prior to this nurse, we had a nurse that was contracted, I think, on an hourly basis. And it was before my time, but I was trying to go back and see. I assume that was funded by the town. So I believe at some point we would have had at least some amount of money on the town budget. And then I think when the ARPA dollars came along and COVID hit and we really needed like a full-time nurse, we switched, and then that was kind of lost. And as you see on the budget, there is that contact tracer line, and I'm not sure if that was the nurse or something different. But again, there was some amount of funding prior to us fully switching to ARPA. And so now if we kind of weren't even to return to that real baseline of, say, 10 hours a week, that would be putting us in a worse position than we were in 5+ years ago. And of course, I echo what Matt said in terms of police and fire. And I think, you know, we partner with them a lot. Our nurse partners with them in many cases. And we have good synergy there. But I would say that, you know, our situation is a little distinct in that if we don't get this funding, we don't have a nurse. We just don't have a nurse. If they can't fund an additional police officer, it may not be as many as they would like to have or that they really need, but there are still other police officers and firefighters, and this kind of just leaves us with no kind of clinical staff on our team.
Okay. So a couple of things for me. Judy, you have any comment?
Not at this time.
Okay. So one is, I wholeheartedly believe in the merits of this position. There's no doubt about it. First is, you know, it's why we have a town manager, is to give us a balanced budget. I know it's a difficult thing. Every department wants more, especially with public health. Especially when COVID hit, there was grants flying in from everywhere. The board, different members always ask whether it's grant funded. Yes, it is. Okay, so for how long? A year, 2 years, 3 years? And this is me, I always vote, okay. I mean, it's not going to cost us anything to have this person come in and do this particular function, okay? So I'm good with that. We know it sunsets, especially with ARPA funds. All these positions sunsetted. So when we say, yes, this position is already filled, yeah, it was filled through a grant. It wasn't a hire that we're not going to refund. Okay, this was a grant that was funded for this person. This grant is expiring. I'm not going to debate the need for it, but it's also, yes, we have a lot of other asks in other departments for additional. Yeah, I know we still have police, we still have fire. We still could use more. They're very, very important for every aspect of our health. Okay, so but the Board of Health, I think, does a great job with all the people that they do have. But when we have grants that expire, they expire, right? And in this position, I think yes, you've had this person, but also, you know, you knew, and maybe you couldn't do anything about it with the budget. But we knew that this position was going to expire at this particular time. And if it was that important, maybe it should have happened before. How long was the grant? 3 years? I don't know if anybody, do you know, Tom?
Did you say 5 years?
Yeah, we had ARPA since like 2021, maybe 2020,
That's right.
2021.
Yeah. So for me, it's just, I can't, that's why I have to depend on the town manager to set the budget. And if for me, every department comes in and wants to add $50,000 to the budget, I don't know where the hell it would be crazy to try to figure that all out. And especially, I'm not saying you're the first, there could be other ones. Oh, wow, they just gave us 50, them 50, we might as well ask too. I'm not saying they're all as important as a public health nurse, okay? But
Mr. Chair?
yeah, hold on. In my opinion, I have to go on the recommendations. I've never gone beyond the recommendations of the town manager in the budget. They deal with the department heads all the time. They know the needs of the whole town. That's how I feel about it. Not on the merits of what you're asking for, but it's just the money and what I have to depend on the town manager to do. So, Judy, did you have a comment?
I did, Mr. Chair. I feel it's necessary that I abstain from this vote. I have known this public nurse for almost my entire life. And like you, being very close with Mr. Walton, who was head of Patriot Ambulance, I think it's necessary that I do abstain from this vote for that reason. I've known her, like I said, for almost my whole life, and we were best friends for close to 13 years, and it just wouldn't be right for me to vote for this particular line item with the person that is in that position.
Okay, so you're going to, when we call for a vote to add this position.
I will be abstaining.
Right, but you are going to vote for the Board of Health line item. If it passes, obviously you're going to abstain. If it passes, it goes in for a vote. But if it doesn't pass, will you be voting for the Board of Health line item without that
As is.
nurse?
I will vote for it as is, but I don't feel that I should be voting for that particular position.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. If this
it does make
position
sense.
comes down to a vote.
Yes, I just wanted
Yeah.
to clarify what you're going to and you're not going to vote for, so. Okay.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I make one final comment?
Sure.
And I don't mean for this to come off in the wrong way. I think what's frustrating, not with a public health background or being on the Board of Health, I think knowing that we at times find funding for things like a salt shed that aren't always as important. I think it's frustrating to not at least go back to the budget analysis and try to find somewhere where we can fund this public health nurse. And I know I don't know. I'm sure it's a very difficult process. I think knowing the struggles we've had from a financial perspective, knowing how important this nurse is, knowing other towns have fully funded nursing staffs, or at least a part-time nursing staff, I'm just asking that a second look be taken at the budget to try to find something somewhere is all I'm asking for.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I do think it was unfair to say that a salt shed isn't important. It keeps our roadways safe. It keeps people from accidents. And we can't leave salt out in the open without it being, affected by the elements of the weather during that time. So a salt shed is actually important.
Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Are we voting, or to you, I guess, are we voting on this, or, so my proposition, I would like to move to table this budget discussion until our next meeting, given the fact that we just received this information, and in that time, I would like to ask if Mr. Gregory could provide us with some options as far as what it would look like to add this into the budget and what the repercussions of that would be, because, I mean, we're talking all hypothetical right now. We don't know what that would be. I would just like to know if...
So through you, Mr. Chairman, I can certainly take another look. I don't think much is going to change in the overall budget. So if the board wants to take a vote to add this in, I would just ask that they make a corresponding recommendation to show me where to reduce. Because, I mean, there may be some movement in the budget, movement in revenue picture as we get a little further along, but I don't think there'll be much change between now and February 9th. So I'm certainly open to taking another look, but I don't know if I'll have anything substantial to share with the board between now and February 9th.
I mean, if the board wants to vote to table it to the next meeting so he can further investigate,
I would appreciate
I'm okay
that.
with that myself, but I don't know if it's...
I would be okay with that too, Mr. Chairman, but I want to be honest with you. The numbers we got from the governor's budget are not encouraging. The Mass Municipal Association was asking for a 26% increase in unrestricted
General government aid.
federal government aid, that UGA thing. It was actually 2.2%. Chapter 78, I think when you deduct all the things that go against what you get, probably pretty much flat. That's not a good picture. So the budget that he proposed to us was, I think, pretty much online. Maybe was even rosier than that. So I'm open to funding this position if we can find the money somewhere else, but I don't think it looks good. But I will second her motion to table, which I know is not debatable.
I'm okay if Mr. Gregory can look. I mean, he stated, but if he can look and try to find something additional somewhere, I'm okay with tabling it till the next meeting. So, Diane?
Yeah, I'm okay with tabling it. It just doesn't look good at this point.
I mean, I think that's...
Because it's so
I think
tight.
it's stated, I understand, I understand that, but, it's an ask.
And I think my worries, right, are if we don't at least have a part-time nurse in this budget, what are the chances that the fiscal environment improves and we can add it next year? I don't know, right? And then all of...
Or a grant could come up.
Sure,
Right.
but like you said, most often those grants aren't for public health nurses because it is a part of town infrastructure, right? And especially as the town continues to grow in size and we add more housing developments and there is an even greater need for a public health nurse, we would lose everything that she has done for the community and then may never get that position back after. So that is my worry, that this would create that for the future and then we would have continuous health issues moving on from now.
Okay. Judy, so I'm going to call for a vote to table this for the next meeting. The motion's been made, seconded by Steve. So to table this until the February 9th, is that the date?
That's right.
So all those in favor?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Judy?
I was just gonna say that that's fine tabling it, but if we're gonna vote on that particular one line item, my vote's gonna stay the same.
Yeah, okay, so we're just going to vote to table it to the next meeting. The whole
Okay.
request and the budget for the Board of Health.
The entire budget.
Is that
Okay,
correct?
very good.
Is that everybody's understanding?
Yes.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure, because she said, I want to make sure we're not just voting on these. Okay, so all those in favor, Lauren,
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, we appreciate
Thank
it.
you. All right, next, veterans.
2 weeks.
Still here? Steve, Brian? Go on down. You might be the first one. All right, this is tab 23 in the budget book.
Good evening, everyone.
I'll let you do your presentation. I don't think we need to make a
Yeah,
motion
it's not much of a
second, so-
presentation. It's actually reduced. The expenses have been reduced about 4%, or overall. It's 2.33%, as you can see on the bottom right, and that is veterans benefits have been reduced a couple $1,000s, and that's based on previous expenses have gone down, and that's the Chapter 115 benefits. We're seeing less Chapter 115, and that's a result of getting people to work.
Which is what, Brian?
Chapter 115 is state aid.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
the state aid for veterans.
Thank you.
Yep. And that's based on a couple of things. People that are receiving benefits through the VA now that were on Chapter 115, or they're working, or they're not applying as much. So that has gone down, which is helps us in the town. It reduces the benefits, which reduces my budget line. So that reduces that, and travel, conference, and training expense, it's based on previous years, that just went down a little bit. But other than that, it's pretty stable. Not much to say.
Any questions for Brian?
Move approval.
Judy, any question?
Negative.
Thank you. Okay, so motion's been made for the number is 158,160.
So moved.
Mr. Sharrock, you make the motion to move that? Okay. Second,
Second.
Diane?
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor by roll call. Lauren?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, 5-0. All right, Brian, thank you. Thank you for everything you do for our veterans. Very important. We don't forget the service that they've done for our country, and they continue to do now and in the future. So
Thank you for coming out on Veterans Day.
Yeah.
It was a cold one, and we had 5 speakers.
it was.
It was very cold.
I will comment on that. So I did speak. I tried to make it brief. I don't know his name. I think I asked you. There was a gentleman to my right with his son. He was very old. And
Bizarre.
I had hat, gloves, a long coat. The wind was still going through me, and that gentleman had like a jacket. I don't know, whatever it was, Army or what. I don't know. It's just like a satin jacket, and no hat, no gloves. I looked at him. His nose was red, and I wanted to be like, I got to take my jacket and my hat off, but I couldn't. It was so cold. And his son asked him, "Do you want to sit down?" He says, "No, I'm going to stand up." Do you want to, whatever? I don't even know if he even had a hat. And he said no, and he stood there that whole time. I thought he was going to speak. I didn't know, Do you know who I'm talking about? Can you mention who he is?
Well, I wouldn't mention his name in public, but
okay, if he doesn't want it,
yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, he's one of our veterans, and he comes to every parade, and he's a Korean War veteran actually.
Okay.
So he's one of the guys that was in Korea.
Yeah.
And as you know, Korea is very cold, and he's quite used to the cold weather. So he stands quite frigid all the time.
Yeah, and he amazed me. And then also, I got a comment. You guys presented an award to
Jason.
Mr. Karen
Yep.
from the Hudson High
Yes.
band.
Correct.
Same thing for them. They were like, they had to play instruments and everything, and they stood there the whole time, and it was so cold.
And
but
the junior ROTC as well.
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, everybody. There was a lot of people
It was a
that
good
attended,
crowd.
and they could choose what, they could choose what they wanted to wear. But the band, that guy had his choice. My God, what a brave guy, or whatever. But the band didn't have their choice because they had to play their instruments. And I mean, it's just incredible that they were all there supporting that.
I think the high of the day was 19 degrees.
Well, it was just like 50-mile-an-hour winds just howling through there. It was crazy.
But no, I do appreciate
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, speaking on that, I also just want to say to Mr. Stearns that I had the pleasantry of giving a speech at the Medal of Liberty, the first annual Medal of Liberty. Scott's daughter was at her wedding. He was at his daughter's wedding, so he asked me to give a speech, and I got to tell you that was a very, very humbling experience to see the family members getting or accepting the award or the Medal of Liberty and the certificate. It was just I was speechless watching that because you put that on, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and I know that was the first annual, and I look forward to seeing that in years to come because that was truly, truly touching and humbling, and I congratulate you for putting that on.
Yes, I appreciate that, and your speech was right on target as well, and it was very well
Thank you.
received. Very well received, and the Medal of Liberty is a state award, and the actual medal is replicated by the actual medal looks like similar to the Purple Heart. And
A Purple Heart, yes.
So with you there were 9 people that received the award from from Massachusetts, from Hudson, exactly. So,
Yeah, that was a beautiful ceremony.
Yes, it was.
I wanted to commend you for that. Thank you.
appreciate
I think
that. Thank you very much.
I'd also like to, from my recollection of the whole thing, is that Mary Harity was very instrumental in
Yes.
putting that on.
Yes, she was.
She
Yep.
reached out to me, asked me to come to speak, which I, referred that to Judy, but
We had a lot of people involved in that.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, I know she was the one that reached out to me to talk to me
Correct.
about, a
And
speech.
there was, we also did an award for another person, and we went down to Milford to do it, right at the actual place that they do it for the state. And we bring in a lot of people for that. So we'll be doing that once a year now, so.
Great. Great.
Yeah, and Kate Hogan was there to assist with helping out the certificates as well as the medals. So it was a very nice ceremony.
So we appreciate everybody that comes out, especially for the services and ceremonies. It's it's short, it's sweet, but it's something that we have to keep going, and it's necessary to make sure that people are recognized and our traditions continue. So I appreciate everybody that is involved in that, and that we keep it alive. So thank you very much for everybody for everything you do, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. All right, next one. Cable fund budget. Tab 29,
Me again.
$303,652.
So, I mentioned this to the town manager, and I apologize. So the amount requested is short. So for everyone who's been around a long time, the PEG, or the cable, funds two portions. It's a school portion and a town portion. So the town portion is missing out of this number. So it's up to you guys. We can do it, or we can do it another night. But I can mention it to you, because the town portion and actually the school portion only changed slightly. I mean, honestly, but it's up to you guys if you want to.
Okay,
So the school portion is $131,000.
Nope, the town portion.
I'm sorry, the town portion. The school portion is shown in
Yeah.
in your binders. The town's portion is $131,000. So if the board wanted to vote the sum of those two,
It would be $434,652.
Okay, so it's not, it's in the budget, but it's not listed on
Correct.
here, is that what we're
that's right.
saying?
And just keep in mind too, and I think the board knows, this is not a general fund
Right.
budget item. This is funded through the PEG franchise fees that we collect, that the
Correct.
subscribers pay when they pay their cable bills.
Right.
So what was the number again, Neil? It was,
So for the school, it's $303,652, which is up slightly from last year. It's an extra $2,500 that they're asking for. In years past, the number that we were going with was $301,125. So they asked for a little bit more. I think in expenses, actually, their salaries, the salary amount that they're asking for is down. In my conversations and my full-on philosophy is shifting reoccurring expenses out of that, because the cable franchise keeps declining. If people don't sign up for cable, that affects the receipt on our end. And so I've asked, and we have, several years ago, we had 2 staff members on, and we've taken them off completely for that reason. So, they're trying to do the same now, just kind of shift the expense away from the PEG access. So, but in this particular case, they need a little bit more expenses, and it's fine. We have the receipts to do it. And so the school's asking for $303,652. The town would be asking for $131,000 even. So the total cable fund budget would be $434,652.
and this is, as the board knows, this is a separate warrant article that appears every year outside of the operating budget. It's voted on separately.
Right, separately,
So 434,652 is the number.
Correct.
okay.
Approval.
So
Okay.
I apologize, I don't know. So you're mentioning the town portion and then the school portion. When you're mentioning the $97,000 that was the salary that was moved to the Hudson Public Schools, is that?
No, I said they reduced. So in years past, like last year, the salary portion was $228. This year they're going from $228 to $218.
Right, but by moving the media teacher?
By moving the what? I'm sorry.
By moving the media teacher, the
Yeah.
10-month position, is that how that got reduced?
I think they've shifted it over to the town side, or the school side operating budget.
So from their current budget, they then took the $97,000 salary and moved it over to the school department, which then we will see that increase when the school department comes?
I would assume so. I mean, I'm looking at the budget, right? And so it went from, normally it's 301, and it went to 303, and really, the expenses, their salary expenses went from 228 to 218, but their operating expenses for things, supplies, whatever, went from 72 to 85. So I think they just shifted some expense around, and ultimately they just lowered they lowered their salary by a small amount, but it shifted over.
Okay, so I'm seeing on the third page that we have from them, the media teacher and media integration specialist, the estimated salary, the $97,151, 80% of it will be moved to the Hudson Public School Department general budget. So then when the school department comes, they will have that additional
Yes.
$54,000 in their budget because it got moved from this cable fund
Yes.
onto the public schools instead.
Correct.
Okay, so that's basically where they got the reduction, even though they did end up going up.
Yes.
So then where did the rest of the gain? Because you said that they were reducing, but they moved $54,000, but somehow they still went up.
But not in salary and expenses. So if you look at page 4, I don't know if you see page.
Okay, yep.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Nope, go ahead.
If you look at their page 4, their HUD-TV budget expenses, their costs, I think, where that increased between hardware, software, and contracted services. And that's where their increase went into.
No, I do.
Oh,
Yeah, I have that. So this version of it's not the same as the other budgets that we get, so we don't see the past year's line by line item.
You would, yeah. I don't think you see the last year's pass. I mean, I can get you that because that's easy. I have that in my book too. I can get you that. That's easy.
Okay.
That probably breaks it down a little bit better in terms of if you want to see side by side.
That's,
But,
I mean, it's
yeah.
helpful to
But
see
like I said,
the change.
Like I said, the budget completely is only going up, and it's really them is the $2,500, and like I said, most of that got shifted to expenses. And so.
But overall.
Overall, yes.
But minus the $54,000 that got taken away from them.
Right.
So really, they're going up $52,000 ish. If you take away the 54 and then you add the
Yeah, sure. I went by last year's and I looked at last year's and that's what I noticed, that their salaries are down 4%, expenses are up 17, but the net impact on the whole thing is only like 1%. It's like, the $2,500.
But this is what the school
So
requested.
this is what they requested, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is their request.
Okay.
We didn't change it.
So when you're talking about the PEG franchise fees,
Mm-hmm.
that pays for the $300,000 or the $400,000?
It pays for all
of it.
All of it, yes, all of it. What I had mentioned though is what I've said, and when I started here 3 years ago now, is one of the things we need to start looking at was shifting full-time people away from the PEG, only because if for whatever reason the PEG goes away, that would be our biggest expense, and it would be hard to do, right? So I'd asked a while ago to try to start shifting away, so we're not paying salaries out of that.
Right, and that's what we've been doing on the town side. The PEG dollars have been subsidizing or have been supporting the IT salaries partially over the years, and we've come away from that because of the reasons Neil mentioned. People are pulling the proverbial plug, right, and they're not paying for cable service or getting their the service elsewhere.
Right.
So on the town side, we've moved entirely away from salaries being supported by this revenue source. This is Neil's point, is this effort is going to likely continue in the years to come because the prospects of cable television aren't particularly good.
Because the whole premise was based off of a cable fee and the number of subscribers, and now that model is completely gone away. And so that's where lies the problem in this. And so what a lot of communities have done is make their cable a non-for-profit. And so what that does is actually allows them more opportunities to build a cable access studio outside of what they currently do. Because they're a not-for-profit, it entitles them to get more grants and funding. And so, what a lot of communities do is then they take this money and they just give it to them directly. So now the fee goes directly to the non-for-profit, and it gets away from the town, and they run basically like a small corporation.
We do not do that.
No,
We do not do that. It would be a big change, and to get everyone to understand, it would be, I think, a progressive change, and it would be a good thing. But we'd have to kind of get everyone involved to do it. But the benefit is they have access to more money, what we can't provide. So now, this is where it limits us. It's because of this.
So if I can,
Sorry, I mean to believe.
No, I appreciate the extra.
Yeah, and it's just a hard thing to kind of sell, I think, sometimes. But I think once it's done, it takes a lot of work, and to transition over, it takes a lot of work. When I started here, I mentioned this to the town manager, and he's like, you can't take that on. I certainly can't do that now, but ideally it would be a good thing, I think, in the long run for the town of Hudson and for the school department, because like I said, it's run as a not-for-profit. They just have more access to stuff.
It would be separately chartered with a separate board of
Correct.
directors,
Yep.
managing their expenses, applying for grant funds. It's the preferred model to do this.
Yeah.
So it's a project, on the horizon at some point. So.
And just to finish the point, I mean, I understand that this is a completely separate fund, but when we're talking about not being able to pay for some things, and then we're shifting away from paying for salaries out of this fund, moving them to other funds, that's then taking away from what other departments are able to increase. And I mean, and again, we don't have what they spent last year, and I understand, but $55,000 for hardware, for instance, is all of that hardware necessary? If we didn't have to shift that $54,000 salary over to the public schools, would that free more money up for the public schools? It's just it's that mentality of, I understand that this is a separate fee, but if we could have kept the salary here, then would that have freed up more money for the schools? Could that then have freed up money for the health department?
I hate to say it, but you're going back. We'd be back in the same boat, right? So either way, I think you're going to end up in the same spot no matter what, right? So yeah, if we never shifted it, sure, there'd be available funds. But then now we're back to this, and there wouldn't be available funds here. And so that's
You didn't shift it.
we started to shift. It was before me, right before.
What I'm
me.
talking about is if there was any reduction, the school asked for a certain number.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? And they're getting that number, is that correct?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's
I don't,
their
there's no,
choice, yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from the school.
We're not taking it away from the school. I think they're shifting, instead of it being paid out of the PEG, they're shifting it to.
Right, but that's their
But
decision.
that's
their decision.
right.
Okay.
Right.
But they're not here to ask the questions to Mr. Beatty is.
I'm not debating what you said. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
trying to clarify what that is. And it's all paid for by the cable receipt.
Yep. I'm happy. I'm just happy it was within the budget. So.
Okay. All right.
Is
do you have a motion?
Can I just, is there I understand you have mentioned it's a big lift to switch it to a public, whatever, yes, not-for-profit. Is there any way to, maybe on the November town warrant or something, are there consultants or something that could do this for us to, instead of having the current staff make this transition? It seems like it would be a good thing to do as soon as possible, because we're going to continue to have these problems.
There is, but we need to have that discussion with the school first.
Yeah,
right?
Right. It's just something food for thought.
It's food for thought, but we're not. Again, it's getting all the players involved and sitting down and understanding what the capabilities are.
Right.
There could be some downside too. I don't see as much downside. I see a lot of upside, but I don't want to say that entirely, because I'm sure again, you're shifting things away that they deal with internally or have done for so long. So that might be, that's a discussion we'd have to have with them. I can't speak for them.
But there'd have to be buy-in, is what Neil's saying.
There'd have to
right?
be buy-in
There'd have to
to
be
it, yeah.
buy-in, understanding about where we are now, where we want to get to, and there's a number of strategic conversations that have to happen. So it's certainly doable. Is it doable by November? I'm not sure. But it's something that's certainly on our radar screen. So.
Great, thank you.
We had a motion by Mr. Sherrill.
And no second?
No, second.
Okay, so the number is 434,652. Motion by Mr. Sharp, correct?
And second.
Okay, all right. So by roll call vote, all those in favor, Lauren,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
chair votes yes, and that passes 5-0. Okay, thanks, Neil.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Neil.
All right, next is community development, tab 7 in the budget book. Christina?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It's nice to see you tonight. Nice to hear your voice, Ms. Condon. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you.
I'll try to keep this pretty brief. It is getting late. Just a quick overview to maybe highlight some of the major responsibilities of our department for those that may not be familiar with what we do. We jokingly call ourselves the Department of Everything. We tend to be a little bit of a catch-all, kind of like the town clerk's office in many ways. Whenever folks have a question, they seem to seek us out. But generally speaking, our major responsibilities primarily consist of providing the professional oversight and management of the development review process. And this is involving providing the technical staffing for the 3 big land use boards. So that's the Planning Board, the Conservation Commission, as well as the Zoning Board of Appeals. Those 3 boards fall within our departmental umbrella. Of course, we administer the wetland permitting processes. The Assistant Director, who many of you know, Pam Helnick, is also the Conservation Agent. She has a lot of other titles too, but she first started with the town as the conservation agent. And I should note that both Pam and I have celebrated 10 years of service to the town of Hudson, and we still have a punch list that's like this big as we're continuing on. Again, we provide professional oversight and management of affordable housing development initiatives, and one of our big milestones occurred this year, which was the opening of the 100% affordable housing development at Packard Street, the old police station. That was a really wonderful kind of pulls on my heartstrings a lot. It's kind of my professional why. A lot of collaboration on that project that was overseen and managed through our department with the Affordable Housing Trust, and obviously the support of the Select Board. We work a lot, of course, with the business community. Technically, I am the Economic Development Director for the town. We don't have a separate Economic Development Department or position. We are a lean department of 3 now. So obviously, I work really hard to forge collaborative and successful partnerships for the planning and implementation and financing of economic development initiatives. Hello?
Hi.
Sorry about that. Sorry, my daughter FaceTimed me at the same time, and I went to decline it, and it ended your call.
Oh.
All right, you're back.
Okay. So, of course,
Okay.
we work with the BID and the Hudson Business Association, as well as the Chamber of Commerce. One of the goals for this upcoming year is to reestablish, reinvigorate the Economic Development Commission, which has been dormant for a couple years, really working with a few of the remaining members, as well as the newest member who actually sits on the planning board, to really define their mission to support the strong organizations like the BID and the HBA. There's some really great examples out there in other communities who have strong EDCs that can support what we already have in Hudson in terms of economic development advocacy. Obviously, we manage all of the analysis of zoning and land use plans. We manage and develop and implement the long-range planning documents. So this past year, we received approval from the Commonwealth for the Open Space and Rec Plan. The housing production plan and the master plan update is currently underway, and thank you to Mr. Brell and Ms. Bemis for sitting on the steering committee. There are going to be some more opportunities for public outreach once we start to formulate some recommendations in terms of what we'd like to see in that actionable plan, and that's the key word with the master plan, coming up with actionable items, since we pretty much implemented everything that was in the prior master plan. So that's kind of a broad overview of our department. Of course, there's a lot of other things that we do, but I'd be happy to answer any questions. Our departmental budget is basically paying our salaries.
Any questions for Christina? Judy, any questions?
Negative.
Okay.
If you don't
so
mind.
the
Mr. Chair.
Sure, yes.
I just want to say thank you for your and your team's work, and obviously you guys work incredibly hard for this town, and we do appreciate it, so thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that.
And that's going to continue with the Intel site. You're going to
Can't
earn,
go to
you're
one
gonna earn your
meeting
money.
without that project.
I didn't say it. Blame him.
You're going to earn all your money, and you guys, that's a monumental task. But yeah, I will comment too that the first go around wasn't good, and not because of you, just mostly the everything. There was a lot involved this time.
It's a comedy of errors.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows this time we have a much better developer. Everybody knows the need for the tax revenue that we're going to get from that site, and I know you and the planning board and the zoning, everybody else is working hard to make sure that we're going to get the best use out of that. It might not be to everybody's
Mr. Chair,
liking.
can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you.
If you can hear me, everything just went mute. I can't hear you guys.
Can you hear me? Where'd Aaron go?
He's right there.
Oh, you came back. You're back.
Okay. You're back.
You might be able to hear me.
Everything
just
just went mute.
You might be able to hear me just because you live down the street.
Yeah, right.
All right, you're good now?
Yeah, I missed about 10 seconds of what was being said.
Okay, I only was mentioning to Christina about the fact that, her previous experience with the Intel site and the upcoming one, she's going to earn her money, and talked about, the fact that we have a much better developer, and maybe not everybody's going to get everything they want out of that, but I think with this developer and the team, Christina and the boards, they're going to do a great job. I'm looking forward to the tax revenue that we sorely need.
I learned some things too through that
Absolutely.
last process. I don't look at those things as failures. I look at them as opportunities to regroup and consider how to do something a little bit better and differently. And yes, we have an amazing development partner who are also the property owners as well. It's not and they're also local, and they have watched the game tape with me. Believe me, I've seen a lot of I've watched a lot of HUD-TV recordings of the prior process, and we're always willing to learn and grow from those experiences. It wasn't pleasant for me, for sure, but we are committed to the community, but also committed to administering a fair and honest public hearing process.
Thank you. All right, so the number requested is $338,753. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded by roll call. All those in favor? Lauren?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that passes 5-0.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
Christina.
you.
Christina.
All right, next is citizen issues. I know we had a couple, Beth? You were one, right? Diane, did you?
No, I have 2 questions about things come up tonight, and if I could come up.
Yeah. Beth, did you want to, I know you asked, do you still want to speak? Okay. And there was another, what was the other one? Janine?
Then you?
Okay. I know there was a,
Jeanette Milliard.
Jeanette Millard.
She was here, she left.
Oh, okay. All right, so, Diane, just so, tell us, thank you.
Diane Millette, 21 Cayuga Drive. Thank you for
Thank you.
the unplanned attendance at this table. Two questions that have come up with the meeting tonight. I'm disappointed to hear again about the 403B deposits. Once again, I just checked my account when I was here. My own 403B deposits in a different school district than Hudson is averaging 2 business days. I do not understand why we're having repeated conversations about why it's taking so long for the teachers in this town to have their 403B deposits made. I can't see how the vendor codes have changed in another town, that my town was not aware of it, but I looked it up. I was paid on November 27th, it was deposited December 3rd. Paid on December 11th, it was deposited December 15th. Paid on the 24th, it was deposited on the 26th. I was paid on January 8th, it was deposited January 12th. Can't be that different. And my other question is that, and Ms. Cognan, this is no question on you in the sense, but if she has not been, unfortunately, she seems to have not been able to be present since November 10th for a meeting. I'm wondering if there's any help that we can do to make the virtual a little bit easier somehow. It seems that we seem to have a lot of trouble with the virtual attendance in terms of either because she's not able to have paperwork that was not given ahead of time or, with the audio concerns. But, in the past 2.5 months, I think that the virtual attendance for anybody just makes the meetings harder and a bit longer. So I'm wondering if the board can do anything to make that a bit easier so that we don't have as many complications. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I comment on that, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Actually, the virtual has been very easy. Erin Dillo does an amazing job of setting up the Zoom, setting up the phone. I had a paper issue once, and honestly, to help her with her answer, because she has voiced this on social media as well, I have a medical issue, and I shouldn't have to display that to the public that I've had a medical issue, but I am participating, and that is what is important. I'm not sitting at home. I am here. Yes, I am sitting at home, but I am not absent. I am here participating, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, I am here. And unfortunately, I have had this medical issue for some time now, and I honestly don't think that that's anybody's business. However, Erin Dillo is doing an amazing job of keeping me involved.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Next, board topics. Lauren.
Yes, I do. I would like to express my sincere appreciation for the continued professionalism, compassion, and dedication demonstrated by the members of the Hudson Fire Department during a recent situation involving a local family. The firefighters involved responded with calm efficiency, clear professionalism, and providing reassurance during a stressful moment. Their ability to take control of the situation while offering kindness and patience, particularly towards a young child, was deeply appreciated and left a strong impression on those involved. This incident serves as a meaningful reminder of the important role the fire department plays in our community. Your presence, responsiveness, and care provide a great deal of comfort to residents, especially during moments of uncertainty. Knowing that community members can rely on such capable and compassionate professionals really make a difference. Thank you to all those assisted. Your service and commitment to the community are truly appreciated. And from a personal level, I really appreciate the care that was given to a family friend. So thank you.
Mr. Sharp?
Chairman, just want to say thank you to all the townspeople who have communicated with us on, two major issues over the past couple of months. The audit committee, town finances, and most recently the transfer station project. So just want to thank them for communicating to us in whatever way they want to.
Thank you. Diane?
Yes, I guess this is the night for thank yous. I wanted to thank the DPW for all the work that they have been going through the last couple of days, and will continue through the winter. But this storm certainly tested their mettle, and under a new DPW director. Also, I want to thank actually Christina and the planning board for the public hearing they had on 75 Reed Road on January 21st. That night, the topic was traffic. And then the upcoming meeting, which is February 25th, the upcoming topic will be sound and any other adjustments that they have made. National's been wonderful to work with. And so I do have to say that they listen. And there were a lot of things that came out on the 21st of January that they are taking under consideration as they adjust their plan to go forward. So they have been wonderful to work with. So thank you, Christina, and thank you to the planning board for all of the plans. And the meetings are 2.5, 3 hours long on Zoom. They entertain questions. They don't shut you down. Anybody that has a question will be heard. So I thank you for that.
Okay. Judy?
I just want to echo what Diane had just said about the DPW. They've done a fantastic job. In fact, we have a hydrant across the street from my house that my husband constantly makes sure that it's clear, and I do hope that everybody that lives in town makes sure that their hydrants are clear. The fire department does try to go out and clear hydrants when necessary, but they have other tasks to do. So, and I do thank it was today, in fact, the person clearing the sidewalk actually was very careful in not covering the hydrant again after my husband uncovered the hydrant. So they're doing a fantastic job, and they always have. And I just, I thank them for all the hard work and the lack of sleep that they get to keep us safe.
Thank you. I'd like to expound on that a little bit. Not only the storm, but the cold weather we've been having. I know the DPW had an issue with a water main break, and that's there's going to be another one coming for sure with this weather. The DPW, they're out there all the time, every day for us. They also, during these storms, we have multiple contractors who are also out there at the same. So we need to thank them because, as we had heard Eric mention before, we just weren't getting enough people wanting to do that. Some have stepped up in the meantime, and that's key to helping us clear the roads. The other thing, too, is, let's not forget that our police, our fire, I know Judy and Diane mentioned that a little bit, but they're out there when we get not just this snow, but that extreme cold. The police are out there every day, all the time in this. There's nobody that spends more time out there than they do in this stuff. So I want to thank them for their service in the storm weather and this cold weather, which is going to continue. So I'd like to thank all of them. Next is correspondence to be noted by the clerk. Mr. Sharrock.
Just one letter to be noted from former Fire Chief Brian Johannes regarding the transfer station project. The letter dated January 21st. We don't have listed here any of the, I don't know if you call them letters, but certainly email communications to the board, but that's something we should probably figure out how we acknowledge those at some point. That's it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
May I, through you, just briefly touch on 5 paragraphs that the former fire chief did mention about the transfer station, because I do think it's important.
Yes.
Can we not?
All right, thank you. I'm just going to read it from his letter. Third paragraph in, he says, the traffic pattern is not conducive. This is referring to the transfer station. The traffic pattern is not conducive to residential use, especially during weekend hours, due to the volume of commercial activity. During peak traffic times, I've personally witnessed accidents and several near accidents as people try to access compactors and recycling dumpsters. There is limited space to accommodate these activities safely. To my knowledge, we have been very fortunate that there have been no serious accidents that have occurred. Following paragraph. The expanded facility will relocate approximately 1,400 to 1,800 feet off Cox Street. This should prevent any vehicles from queuing up on Cox Street, waiting for the facility to open. Additionally, the expanded facility will be displaced further from the neighboring Mulready School, reducing the proximity of truck noise and exhaust for its students, families, and faculty. Further, incorporated into the design of the new facility will be dust and odor control measures, which the current facility does not have, thereby offering mitigation of these concerns to abutters. On the second page, on the back page, it says household items and other waste types are sometimes left in conspicuous locations at the current site and may go unnoticed by the operators during peak periods of operation. I've witnessed a flat screen TV stuck between recycling dumpsters, as well as a 5-gallon paint cans hidden behind trash cans in the recycling area out of the view of operators. In both instances, I believe this was done purposefully to avoid disposal costs. Even the couple of examples I've shared, there are likely many more, create unnecessary expenses for the operator to resolve. In my professional experience as the prior fire chief, BP Trucking consistently helped resolve waste disposal issues when options with other haulers were limited. This serves as an example of a public-private partnership benefiting our residents, which, due to its sensitive nature, cannot always be discussed publicly. Lastly, as an employee for the town of Hudson that worked at fire headquarters at 296 Cox Street for more than 2 decades, the vast majority of odor in the area emanates from the wastewater treatment facility. There is no confusion about the origin of effluent treatment, and depending on weather conditions, it is worse some days than others. I know that correspondence are not typically read in great length, but I do think it was important to read this because this is opposing to what, the general public is saying right now. And I did want other people to hear the opposing side.
Okay.
And being the former fire chief, I think, and being at 296 Cox Street for 20 plus years, and responding to that facility, it was important to hear some of his points. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I have 107 other emails that I have just, because I moved them all into one folder. I have 107 other emails from all different residents about this, and not a single one of them was even listed, and yet this one got to be read.
This was requested to be put on in the correspondence. All right. This was only correspondence. I'm not going to open this up. Ms. Congdon read this. Mr. Sharrett could have read it. He didn't read it. I'm not going to. This is only correspondence. This was not under citizens' issues. It was under board topics. It wasn't on the agenda.
But why were the other ones not on correspondence? Is my question.
They weren't asked to be on correspondence. Didn't have
So
to be emails. I don't know. Okay.
So there were ones on here that did ask to be on there.
Mr. Chair, could I also note that the 107 emails that we received, almost 90% of them were copy and paste emails. There was nothing original about 90% of those emails.
Okay. That's fine.
I don't think that makes them any less valuable.
Nobody said it was. They didn't request to be put on the agenda and on the correspondence.
So in order
you got
to
an email.
So I'm asking a question for future reference.
Right.
If somebody wants it to be listed as correspondence for the to be recorded by the clerk, they have to specifically say, "I would like this to be on the next agenda."
Not on the agenda, listed under correspondence.
Okay, so that has to be within that. If they would like it on there, that's what they have to say.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Otherwise, it will not be on there.
Correct.
Okay. Where
There was
on
no
this?
there was no need for executive session, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, we have to.
Seconded.
vote
So moved.
for the
I'm sorry.
correspondence.
Yes. Motion was made. Motion to accept the correspondence. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? To accept the
Second.
correspondence? Thank you. All those in favor? Lauren?
No.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Move to adjourn.
Seconded.
All those in favor? Lauren?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Judy?